Joining me today to talk about International Day of the Girl Child, I have a special guest, Melyssa Tremblay from Montreal. Melyssa, thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
So, I would love to know, just to start off, how are you involved with International Justice Mission?
I had a podcast for a little bit, and I got the privilege to have Anu, she was the CEO at the time. Right now, she's on leave, but I had her on my podcast, and we just talked about human trafficking and what's going on in the world, and how much is still happening that we are mostly unaware of. I feel like that's not something you hear often about, and it just broke my heart to see that there was so much still happening. And we talk about slavery, but we don't look at what's actually still happening today. And yeah, that's how I started getting involved. My family has been doing some work with IJM on a smaller scale for a long time before that, but that really got me kind of passionate and involved with IJM. And so that's what started kind of my journey with IJM. And from there, I was on a mission trip in Ghana, and I was able to go see their offices there. And I also went on a vision trip with them to Bolivia. So it's been
Wow,
really cool.
very neat. We're going to get to those trips in just a second, but why do you think it's important to support the work IJM is doing?
I think that there's no one really in the world that's doing the work that they do at the caliber that they're doing it. They have highly trained people in every domain, from A to Z, from rescuing people all the way through to getting convictions and getting people arrested. And so it's just, and honestly, for me, it's also the Christian perspective of it, of just being able to go and get those who are stuck and lost and broken, and be able to help them get restoration and healing. And it's just, yeah, I don't think anyone does it, I mean, that I know of, as well as IJM does. And so that's why I'm really passionate about what they do.
I would love to hear, if you don't mind, a little bit about your recent trip to Bolivia, if you wouldn't mind sharing some details.
Yeah, that trip was a lot. It was a big trip. We're up in the elevation. We had a great team. Some of us were sick because of the elevation, but it was honestly, like, to be able to be there on the grounds and see what's actually happening, and meeting everyone in the process. Like, we met, lawyers, we met police officers, we went to the offices where they were doing all of the prosecution and the interviews and all the. So it's, I mean, it's one thing to hear about what they do, and it's a whole other thing to be there, to see the emotion of the people, to meet victims, survivors, like, that was, yeah, I I find it hard to find words sometimes to capture everything that we saw, that we heard. And I think even months after, we're still processing some of that, probably. But just because it's not a reality that we live in every day, but these people do, and they're in it, and they give their lives to it. And just watching the staff, like, give everything they have to this mission, is, yeah, it kind of pushes you to ask why you're not more involved with what's going on in the world. So, and I think
Amazing.
personally for me, as someone who was sexually abused, being, able to meet these survivors who just have so much hope and so much life, and they're really healed and being, like, renewed, it's just incredible to see. And then going to be activists for this, to actually make a difference and get other people out of it, is just incredible.
You talked about going to Ghana and then obviously Bolivia recently. Would you mind giving a highlight of both trips?
Yeah, for sure. It's so interesting because it's one organization, but from what I've seen, even in just the couple offices that I went to, it's just the atmosphere is so different. Um, when I was in Ghana, I think my favorite thing was the worship session we had before they started showing us everything, um, and then the second thing would just be the survivor network. How in a country like Ghana, where there's a lot of um, there's just a lot of difficulty to spread that kind of message and to actually bring awareness to the problems, and for survivors to go back in and like put themselves at risk to get other people out is, I mean, I don't know if I have that kind of courage, so it's yeah, I think that's probably my biggest highlight of Ghana's office. And Bolivia, yeah, I think I already said it, of just the staff that give their entire lives to this mission. Like, I mean, they would be there from, I don't know, some of the people in the process, not even just the staff of IJM, but the people that they work with, and like the police department, and some of the hours being like 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., like just the lawyers trying to get these convictions. I mean, it's just, we're so privileged, and they're really just giving their lives to this mission. And I think that's just amazing. And why wouldn't you want to partner with that? Um, so
Well said.
yeah.
Is there anything that you learned while on these trips that you were like, wow, I had no idea?
I think in Bolivia specifically, just the percentage of children and women that are being abused. I'm not going to quote the numbers because I don't remember them exactly right now, but it's just like, it's such a big scale of violence and abuse happening, and it's normalized for a lot of it, in Bolivia specifically. Like, violence against women is normalized. It's part of it's just, it is what it is, basically. And so to go in there and get in that fight, and it's just, yeah, I find it hard to find words for these things sometimes. It's just um yeah. I don't know if I answered the question properly, but
Yeah, absolutely. I can only imagine when you go in seeing something that is, like you said, kind of part of the culture. It's just accepted,
mhm,
and then you're trying to make change so that women can be set free,
right.
but it's a long road. And
Mhm.
I believe, and I think you do too, a worthwhile road.
Yeah, for sure.
Why is it important, in your own words, to shine a light on the work that IJM does, especially during International Day of the Girl Child?
I think, and especially if I tie it to Bolivia, a lot of girls experience abuse and violence in their own homes, in their own families. Um, and this is not everybody, but it is a big, big number. And to have seen that, like, so, I mean, sometimes I can't even talk about it because it makes me very emotional. But I think on this day of any day is why we need to talk about this. Like, Bolivia is not the only country like that. There are so many countries. There are so many kids that are suffering that don't even know they're suffering. It's just their daily life. And yeah, that's why, I mean, I will shout from the rooftops everything that IJM does. So, I mean, I talk about IJM to everybody. So it's I mean, this is no different right now. So
Well, thank you so much
yeah.
for sharing your heart. Is there anything else that you wanted to share today?
No, I think that's pretty much it. But I encourage everyone to get involved with IJM and go see what they're doing. And yeah.
Well, Melissa, thank you so much for taking the time. We really appreciate your passion and all that you are doing to partner with International Justice Mission, especially on this International Day of the Girl Child.
Thank you.